Goldfinch. There's a bonny little goldfinch perched on yon upturned wheelbarrow, wi' a head as red as hellfire, fairer even than the sparrow. Daws say it must be summer-time, cries his happy little tune. Make the most on't, my feathered friend, for 'twill be hour soon. Did ye find out among the clots a worm or two for your dinner? Look out, here comes the pigeon. He's normally the winner. 'Tis the perfect jigsaw nature, for everything a place. So what's your secret, Goldfinch? Maybe's your life's not a race. Ye take your time on that barrow handle and take in all that's there. Ye smell them lovely roses and sing if you've a care. Let your song blend with the Coquet just beneath the blackie's lead, and pity them what divn't of the likes of ye take heed. Eric's garden fire. I wadn't hing nee washing out, says Eric through his tash. I'm gonna hae mysel' a bit fire, get rid of all this trash. His whiskers was fair wabbling as the swirling mists arose. His happy little eyes twinkled as he grinned from his heat of his tours. First time he's been doing this year, his allotments wantin' howked. He'll be away up to the rose the neat, all that digging'll have him choked. A fine contented chuckle gives Eric as it burns away, spoiling clothes to the side of yon well, they'll not get fresh the day. That'll keep the pigeons off, by your bugger will it not? I hope his beard doesn't catch a hard and spoil his little plot. He's born in my old Christmas tree I'd left to rot away, and by hell it burned, smoke thick as treacle, a right dark shade of grey. It's good to have a right clean out, get rid on't, start afresh. But maybe best leave hacky today, them clays what wants a wash. 'Twill be autumn soon. As the pigeon boldly keeps time, and the leaves bear hint of brown, a golden crispness in the air tells 'twill be autumn soon. Chimneys'll wake afore lang, farmers'll gather their yield, and the poor rad moose'll run frantic, now not what's happened his field. The berries is gainin' colour, reds and purples here and there. Much has passed since May's pink blossom, and it won't be long afore all's bare. The nights is drawing in closer, leaving behind a cooler dew, and ye can but stand and marvel at sic a wondrous view. Warmly branches bend and bairns fair bursting with delight, waiting for them conkers falling still wrapped in green shells tight. I can mind larks and games, swings and climbing frames, a seesaw and a roundabout too. Making our way o'er the bridge to play on the dudgeons, how the world smelt brand new. I can still taste the hot dogs on bonfire night, and yon muckle heap we watched gra with delight. Aye, some naughty young'uns would set it a had. 'Twas a Rothbury tradition, but mischief, nae bad. Golden times, golden seasons, why do they go? There must be a reason. Does the Coquet keep them in his whispered song? To stand and listen, would it be so wrong? Or is it only we who change, like the setting sun, and think it strange that times like these are lost and gone? Oh, if time were but ours, and that old sun shone! But shine it does, and gold are the trees, and rich are the smells wafting in the autumn breeze. And heed we must take in the here and now, lest our minds make it bare, afore time doth allow. Little Bird. What are you bleating about, little bird, sitting there atop of that well? Did your mammy forget to feed ye? Or is the world our big, and you're so small? What's it like out there in the rain? How would the world be without your refrain? So sing your heart out, divn't stop, your beautiful song puts you right at the top. Where have you flown to, little bird, that once sat there atop of that well? Have you gone to fill your belly full of them things that slither and crawl? I wish you'd come back, little bird, and keep a fella company. But fly away, dear feathered friend, and do what things you need to do. Where did your song go, little bird? I cannot hear it any more. Was it taken by the howling wind far away to a distant shore? But no, there you are, I can see you again. So sing that song only ye can explain. The last whistle. The red and yellow's waving and the pipers unsung. It's a right canny day for a kick. Hinging round by them gates they'll be off afore long. Godspeed to the folks of Annick. Look, there it comes, and they're off and away, fair marching over that bridge, to the lion's den where they're reivers again, and the wind blaws colder than a fridge. There's young uns and old uns all plodging about that clears in a right hacky state, chasing Jock through the clots. This is where the fun starts. Some's not lang since had their bait. In the water it lands, and all of the fans are wondering who'll be forced out. They'll not gone without. See them wade mongst the trout, young Miller and Mare in pursuit. They've had their bit wesh, but now by hell they're fresh, and the onlookers chortle and witter. All that commotion's fair put them in motion, running like the verdures of the skitter. Straight to the hill with the sky torn and pale, be surprised if it even get a splash. But our Temple he knows which way the wind blaws, when the tide turns he's quick as a flash. It's the first to score too, then the neat they'll have a few. There'll be sair heeds the morn, you can bet. And looking down from on high, Paul and Michael fair sigh with relief that they're not soaking wet. Aye, it shows a bit character in an age when it's rare. May them pastures stay green, free of thistle. And I pray that I'm laid pushing up them new blades when the referee blares the last whistle. Summer. Where the bees sing about them clover flowers, and the chiff-chaff's cacophony fills the air, and white butterflies dart in and out the tetties, the summit says it must be summer there. It's our warm for Houghton, thinks the gardener, your bugger, he's even let his beard grow too. For better have a blah, for now it's gone anywhere, and the pigeon seconds that with a lazy coo. Two swans gliding peacefully down the Coquet, and birds of all kinds flock to yonder beach. A white horse grazes in a field tinted yellow. Do they all see summit just beyond human reach? Or does the sweetness of fresh cut grass maybe make them think the same? And the soon the little bairn's laughter says, we can all share this wonderful game. The autumn wind. In waves of silver, left to right, flies the early October rain. The day just wants it to be night, and the stove's back on again. Memories of a summer flit in and out of sight, as I watch the leaves torn yellow, and one by one fall from up a height. Listen how it whispers through the chimney, through the cracks, fanning the fiery furnace, stopping the field mouse in its tracks. Listen, says the voice, getting closer by the hour, and the whimper of a distant bird can be heard against the shower. Lock up your doors and rest inside, for all is not as it was. 'Tis better by that flame to bide, when the first wind of autumn blaws. Does it tell of menace yet to come, or is that what it would have you think? For away the deer and rabbits run, and through the trees street lights start to blink. Yet so 'tis but autumn, a chapter new, and nane but steering hand on't can tell what will come out other side, but inside all seems to be well. The Backstage Door. Has it been 20 years? 'Tis hard to comprehend how time marches on, and all that's gone, think on't as your friend. I can mind a standing out there that sweet and mild March night, gazing up at 1,000 futures, hoping the stars would keep me right. 'Twas the night of the school musical, and 5 minutes did I allow to stand out in the quiet by the backstage door, gentle spring wind upon my brow. Both yearning and contented, aye, a mixture of the two did fill that 17-year-old heart. Into the night those young dreams flew, fancying I saw the future, or felt it rather, aye, or heard the soft trees whisper it, life bursting forth beneath that sky. There was daffodils, sweet fragrances, soft whistling upon the breeze, and just me did stop to take it in, and time stilled, aye, did freeze. And I did imagine this very day when back there I would go, 20 years and many life lessons on, to see another show. Ah, those youthful faces in the spring just like the year, they'll think not upon an old ghost aback of the stage out there. But if they ever take 5 minutes a bit of quiet to contemplate, they might just see that picture, a place time does not penetrate. Oh, that I wore one of them faces, may you think that I would yearn. But wrong you'd be, for if time stood still, what would we ever learn? 'Tis only in the quiet and the stillness can we find those special places, where there is no forward or behind. 'Tis with fondness that I look back, through those eyes eager to begin 1,000 possible journeys, and with that fondness I win. If that backstage door is haunted, you ever hear a youngster cry, I'd smile back then and here and now and say, no, young friend, 'tis I. Morning Bird. Sing, morning bird, your song so true, hark how the whole world stills for you. As you salute the rising sun, here darkness fades and light has won. Your timbre soft but shrill if needed, so that the deepest sleeper heeded your pitch, how it swoops and soars so finely, each phrase executed so divinely, stealing my breath with dynamic quiet, afore bursting forth with sick a riot. The daffodils ye help come out, with that sweetest tune ripe like finest fruit. There are no words to describe that sound, so take your throne above the ground and declare all that must be said. Our feeble words fill not your head. Morning bird, I know not what you say, but wish it was 6 a.m. all day. Oak tree. Oak tree, how wist in all these years I've never noticed ye afore. How many skies frowned with shame upon those eyes that only green leaves saw. But now I look upon ye and see ripe acorns looking down at me. Did somebody just put them there, on that ancient bit of green ye share with Mr. Conker? I used to gan rummaging about, scouring the ground for a shiny brown butte, for there was nought else that pleased the young bairn's heart, in the October breeze, pludging in the odd clot, than that smooth shiny feel tween your fingers and thumb, aye to nature's of the fineries wheel and truly numb. But now years later summit new, aye gentle acorns with a soft green hue. Does the eye sometimes just see what it likes, like conker shells with their prickly spikes? What else might have been there all along, but we did not look properly, or maybe just wrong. And if I likely would forget this lovely tree I ever met, today in my pot by my door found I a ripe fresh acorn dropped down from the sky. To the Blackbird. Sing up, little fella, you have the whole world to yourself, a perfect monophony, so let it swoop, soar, and swell. Do you think there's out can hear you, sweet guardian of the dawn, wi' your timbre rich and perfect, soothing heeds weary and worn? The winter's nearly o'er. Is it he that tells the leaves best be coming out them branches, like babby's hands wrapped in nature's sleeves? Hark ye, heralding the blossom and the pussy willow too, and all the other wonders in a world still soaked with sweetest dew. You need nae magic mirror to tell you who's the best, but 'tis the firm conviction inside all heeds waking from rest, that heaven's song is on your beak, and the stirrer not fully awake will understand afore day creeps fully, the peace only he can make. So sing up, little fella, to the coquet and blaeberry pine, and let the whole world still with wonder, for there's no sound greater than thine. Winter Ghost. Spring rain, aye, it can ease your pain, and you can be who you were once again. The winter nights were long and dark, and the sting of its tongue has left its mark. And the wind still blares down the odd chimney stand and flames upright in a desperate plea. Listen, it says in a terrible voice, there is still time, you have a choice. I'm here to tell you of what could be. See, take heed, listen carefully. The fire will die, but linger I will, sat silently on your windowsill. So rest ye not, but be awake, for there's no telling what I will take. And as the nights grow lighter then, you might just leave your door open. Oh, the tales that I would tell, were I in your heart ever to dwell. And now, by now you must take heed of my voice, hear it wail and bleed. Were you to half understand the truth I tell, would you command I leave this place, I leave you be, when nought but sleep for company? So be it then, may ye dream of spring and the peace that rain will surely bring, of sweeter air bereft of chill, while I wait here upon your window sill. For even fire is not greater than me, I'm always there, so careful be. I'll watch, I'll wait forever, if need, until of my voice you will take heed. The week afore Christmas. By she's cold, says the bare branch to the thin grey slate, neath the dark sky and wind keen and thinner. By she's cold, says the fella, bumping up his tire, and even think he's onto a winner. It's the week afore Christmas, and all our the tune, there's talk a fresh snare, that's the whisper. It's torn and fair bleak like a blade on your cheek, and the Groond stoned an awful lot crisper. Near the top of Jacob's ladder there's a flag on a hoose, and there should be, 'tis sick a fine view. Behold, this is Rothbury, from Simonside to Blaeberry, and Yam to the fortunate few. And aye, there it comes, the faint pitter-patter. By she's cold, screams the washing machine. Tip-tap on the window, and I'm not gone away, howls the chimney like a Marley's ghost seen. It's nice to take 5 and think what it's all about, and sit by the warmth of the fire, as the lights of the lovely Christmas tree twinkle softly to a Radio 3 choir. Let's not rive on our much at this time, but sit down, have a blah, you've been told. Enjoy while you can what's inside, different plan, for out there by your bugger she's cold. Coquetdale. My heart is in Coquetdale, in the bonny daffodils, in the sweet scent of a spring morn, in the pines on the rolling hills, in the statue like Heron in yonder field by Beggar's Rig, gazing patiently at the river, aye, in every leaf and twig, in the magical night sky, in the hooting of an owl, in the murmur of the water, in every weather fair or foul, in the wonderful one-liner of the season's supper's view, making light about our big the way many of us do. In the memories still there somewhere, if you listen hard enough, to the Coquet's constant ripple, sometimes sweet and sometimes rough. In the verdant summer evenings, when green leaves whisper hello, and what a lucky man you are, for this many will never know. To that breeze through the bedroom window, and then moments just before sleep, I'll say, good night, sweet Coquetdale, my heart is yours to keep. Lang there may it bide. There's a half-moon and star that twinkle in a sky with frost not far away, with the pale silhouettes of Simonside that are here for a long time to stay. 2 bats fly out of the gardens, and there's a smell of chips in the air. 'Tis a Friday night in September, and never knew once if fair. Church bells salute in the distance beauty as far as the eye can see. Say it must be Friday in a place called Rothbury. 'Tis a canny little place where folk will pass the time of day. There's a river called the Coquet, alongside which little bairns play. There's meadows nearby with sheep bleating, and the babby in the pram takes it in, and thinks himself back with his maker, aye, up in heaven again. And the laughter of many young lovers who imagine their life new complete, would they set foot here in all weathers, or seek warmer ground for their feet. But there's one out there, come rain or shine, when out to spoil the flow of his mind, and watches the great mystery unwind. For he, 'tis not a passing thing, but in his blood is everything. And some would think him lonely, aye, but he is richer than all beneath that sky. There's a half-moon and star that twinkle o'er a hill called Simonside. Say this must be Rothbury, and lang there may it bide. Who knows? See them trees bristling, brimming with life, a verdant richness everywhere. Waked by the rain, fair pelting down hard, bringing out the smells in the gentle May air. Gardens is being howked, ready for planting again, and you might hear the odd swallow in a canopy down a quiet lane. There's all kinds of green if you look long enough, and different coloured blossoms, beautiful stuff. There's swans on the river now, I wonder where they're gone. When they fly off at night, aye, they must have a plan. just like everything out there, a time, place, and reason, blending with elegance and grace upon the eve of the warmest season. I've bonny summer snowflakes and a strawberry plant too, now to do with me why in my bit they grew. But life finds a way where it wants to survive. 'Tis a wonderful thing to be alive, and see all these treasures which nature presents, walking perfect with nee pund, shilling nor pence. Aye, the spirit of spring pervades every pore, after the deadliest winter left us raw. What I like best is the rustle of new leaves as the May drizzle taps them in a gentle evening breeze. You can feel it coming in the air, new life, rebirth, and who knows what's there. Guardian of the Still. How long's it been since I first heard the song of the Guardian of the Still? I must have been about 12, first time I walked on Coquetdale Hill. 'Twas a sunny night, much like today, when I first set foot on that magical way. The view it stretched from border to coast, from that mystical rock, surrounded by ghosts, and youthful eyes upon that scene wondered what would be, not would have been. And there it was, above that hill, the song of the Guardian of the Still. Above time's cruel and wrenching hand, and in every blade growing on this land, no question and answer, just what is, nae more, monophonic, plaintive, raw. And paint it did in my mind's eye pictures of peoples from times gone by, thousands of years in that tune unchanging, guardian till the end, above that rock of cup and ring. Would they, I wondered, see me there, in that melody sung by that little bird sae fair? Nigh 30 years have passed since that warm sunny day, and still gentle that tune as the new leaves of May, and can only be heard on the quiet of the hill, that song of the Guardian of the Still, a permanence needed in tempest time, knowing every reason and every rhyme. Do the notes say what's there upon that stone, full of suns and moons, or leave it alone? To that song were they carved, and if it could speak, would it tell us the secret upon its beak? How we always think 'tis better if we know why the stars must twinkle and rivers flow, and kill the wonder for all to see, and crucify the song to mere frequency. Of all of creation, your view is the best, and to the weary wanderer, your song gives rest. By that rock and that view ye declare what's true, and one day may we see it too. Time. Hout I can hear ye as the clock strikes 9, in the pitter-patter on beech leaves, and in that warble sae fine. In the myriad of the blossoms and breathtaking blackthorn, can ye speak a little comfort to a heed weary and worn? Oh, were it but yon time again, aye, the spring of life and laughing rain, the future's fire burning bright, and vibrant dreams piercing the night. What happened? Is it all still there? Is it given by time the weight of care? 'Tis easy the one-way chariot to blame, and say it destroys with its merciless flame. Oh, how ye humour our forlorn chase, that one day again we might embrace what once was there in the falling drops. But to us is given time, and it never stops. Summer rain. By it's wanted in the Coquet, with them steppies standing tall, and boughs have long since dipped their leaves, desperate for rain to fall. Fragrances once shy afore that gentle balm took had, please quivering noses poking out them hedgerows scuttling like mad. Beneath yon beech tree is the music best, waking up young leaves while the listener finds rest. Distant greens poke through mists which still both branch and listener there on yonder hill. The rain it fetches all out, moose, frog, snail, paints all as it really is, colours bright, middling, pale. Put the song back in the Coquet rain, teach it how it used to roar. Let them trees soak their branches again, and let the dry time be nae more. A new dawn. The rain falls doon, marking August's end, without spoiling, but a gentle balm to mend. And so shines the seed of yon sycamore through drops full of memories now, nae more. The cooling wind breathes on that fire, stirring in the blood a fair bursting desire. And as we wait for the bruins and reds, and for the forestian to fall, may we keep our heads. For never has a wait seemed so lang as that to be rid of a year that was wrang. As a grey mist looms over Simon's side, and the pigeon's coo fades, having cried all from inside, and the watery street light that once shone proud would, were it human, stand humbled, he'd bowed. A dazzling chorus that once filled the air now fades to a silence, taking with it this year. And the clock chimes indifferent, or so it would seem, with a smile to itself, as we wish, plan, and dream. Aye, never so wondrous has earth seemed till this year, and never so deadly, aye, 'tis both, so beware. But listening hard through the winds and the night, a new song is whispered and a new dawn's in sight. And never will the blossoms smell the same, and never will the street light hang his head in shame. And we, with new life and wisdom blessed, must learn like nature to flower and rest. To the Kestrel. Hovering Kestrel, what do you fund running about there on yon bit Groond? Do you find feathers struggle with your white, holding you still there up a height? You've canny eyes to see doon there, yon poor little moose, how unaware the autumn sun his wits has steeled. He knows not he's seen the last of his field. 'Twas easier afore 'twas bare. Now the farmer's gone and spoiled your lair, and you'll think not to look above when running round doing things ye love. Bird, what death-like stillness ye exude, not like the common crow so crude. Yon pine-clad crag which hides ye weel did shape ye surely hard as steel. Thus calls the chainsaw's brash salute to you, O living blade. How that noise doth suit amang the falling needles bare, that sharp tongue wakes ye from your lair. As berries ripen and winds grow keen, so grow your wits as leaves turn from green. Thin wisps from yonder chimneys rise, a feeble defence gainst darkening skies. See how the others swoop and soar, and sing to herald daybreak and more. But in your style and unworldly grace, like some hand holds ye in that place. Ye lonesome bird, is it all ye need, snatching them what cannot think to take heed? Kestrel, if in your heart you've out, make sure it's quick and the moose nasn't out. Down a dark country lane. On a cold autumn night, down a dark country lane, a street light went off and went back on again, and all the world stirred like an unrested soul, and how all the light struggled neath a sky black as coal. And a solitary bat flew between wailing trees, and the rain lashed relentlessly steady against the strong breeze. And on yonder bridge passed two strangers well clad, with a cheerful good evening in a world that was sad. One looked down the river, the other to the hills, birthplace of that monster no storm ever kills. Aye, what has been and what will be dwells there in yon water, living eternally. And out the light flickered as the false man made way to the raging abyss, dark but for angry spray. His thoughts were a jumble, but heed he did take, as the deepening darkness did see him awake. And back on it flickered as the walker passed by, making sure no stars shone in that unsettled sky. And the darkness did sharpen the first man's eyes, from his reverie awoke him with the slightest surprise. "Good evening," came that second man's voice full of cheer. "How do?" said the first, quieter but sincere. And how many voices on that bridge remain? Does the water collect them, whether glad or in pain? Oh, how life still teems there as nature prepares rebirth and renewal from a world worn with cares. Like a weakening light down a dark country lane, a world flickered off but will come on again. The Woodcutter. Past the whispering Psyche fair new town, with leaves rustling under the feet, I heard me the sound of a woodcutter, as his axe howked a determined beat. And all was calm in the meadows, the cricket in afternoon sleep. The church clock it chimed in the distance, answered by the inquisitive sheep. To the right loomed out Simonside's steep slopes, proud guardians of all here who dwell, and the woodman kept time to the music. Nature's chorus did swoop, soar, and swell. And the leaves made a sweet-scented carpet, and the green fields stretched mile upon mile. Pretty huses sat snug in the distance. May things be thus for more than a while. And the dreamy wind, fresh but inviting, having waked for the stranger to greet, brushed my face like to say, "Come with me this way," while the woodcutter kept to the beat. And for nought new did yon dear Ad Rothbury, as its pine sentries reached for the sky. And the Coquet did smile and say, "Good afternoon, you'll want for nought mair till you die." Christmas Star. A lone star shines above Blaeberry Hill, in agreement with wars below. Its neighbours dance our Armstrong's pines, silhouetted in the magical glow. Windows adorned with coloured bulbs light up wonderful treats therein. Warm ovens permeate the air, as their owners pour a fresh gin. There's a certain quiet in them streets, where the odd merry shout would once be, and I wonder what that bird was back there calling out so unusually. 'Twas coming from the Cinders woods, causing me to look back hour, from halfway up Jacob's ladder, and what my soul did devour. No more magic a sight did any eye see than yon winter sky above Rothbury, and them twinkling trees and hoosies give fine tribute, a truly rare gift here to live. 'Tis a place of awe and wonder, where the hills fair sing with joy, and that lone star above Blaeberry Hill smiles like a bairn with a Christmas toy. The fly on the Alwinton Organ. The fly on the Alwinton Organ always pops out to say hello. Come rain or shine, whether foul or fine, he's there, tickling me brow. He buzzes around me fingers, making fun of handle and bark, and disrupting the Gloria is for him sic a merry lark. The Bickmore clan and Reverend Anne, na nowt of the trials it poses, and Ad Bob Boston's always the firsten to praise me playing in huge dosies. Me friends been there this last 10 year, dancing merrily round the quays. You switch it on, and there he is, him no one else ever sees. Slightly green and bold as brass, I cannot mind of a time when he wasn't there, the organ fly, to make chaos out of every rhyme. Winter Chimes. Frosty the rooftops, hit by the glare of proud fairy lights, neath which carved figures stare. Stood our the babby in his wooden bed, while the old church towers o'er his sleeping little head. Windscreen wipers that have lang laid low cuddle lifeless shells lit by dim amber glow, and a ghostly voice echoes down the street saying, "Safe to come in," to the approaching feet. There's a death-like silence you can almost feel, as we wait for the chimes to sing, "All will be well." Aye, every heed that tosses and turns will hear them ring out, and the hills, trees, and barns, imbued with vibration in every cell, at their very core will shiver at the sound of that knell. Noises in the night. There's noises in the night, where a silky new moon shines bright. Two planes soon not our cliver like they drop. There's a different feel aboot, like summit wants to burst out, a summit that I didn't want to stop. The air is full of the cry of new lammies in fields nearby, and their mammies telling them all will be well. There's a storing in earth's veins, as the Coquet waits for fresh spring rains, and a breeze rustles the daffodils in the dell. Nae leaves yet for to grab hold of, but they'll not be our lang. Mr. Frost doing his best to keep 'em inside. The night sky is a lighter hue, pine standing clearer neath star-filled blue, and heaven, lit by that moon, opens far and wide. And the noises of it swoop and soar, and the Coquet waits like a lion to roar, like the king of all on earth that ever was made. Hear her, as she softly weeps in a song that never sleeps, and from that song my heart has never strayed. The Farnham Hare. The Farnham Hare darts hither and there, startled by them cars that pass along that straight, his fair upper height seeking refuge in that lang grass. That demons throng to his lugs say wrong, what sends him into the spin, comes for the wheels of worshippers, having confessed their weekly sins. There he's bobbing aboot, aye, sick aboot, says the pastor to his wife. Keep your eyes on the road and mind that toad, says she, fearing too for her life. Aye, war kangaroos, not the slightest clue, and 'tis nice that it remains so, for he's all he needs in them grass and weeds, and knows not what's above and below. Lover's Lane. How the mighty Queen Bumbler, doon on yon Lover's Lane, gans buzzing round that leaning tree, held doon by nae lover's pain. Just as rapture felt by them hearts lifts not the worm from his kraal. Is it just us what's up then doon, 1 minute big then small? How many hearts have sat thereon, watching leaves touch the water's flow, on that withered seat where couples meet, aye, that place where time gans slow. As the summer rain from the canopies drips, soothing fires that burn in those young lips, in spring of life soon gone, but still there, in whispering memories that linger in the air. Today sat I and watched the mighty Queen buzz round yon Jupiter branch, wondering what might have been. For so many lovers that once sat there, and for one moment lived, then life gave them nae mair. Midsummer. By sic a balmy night, greens as far as the eye can see, verdant hues neath a perfect blue, fair howk the breath from me. White flowers line the hedges, stretching for mile upon mile. Playful pheasants dart in and out, mair fun than I've seen in a while. Sleepy coos graze mangst buttercups, in bonny fields wanton cut, and a blackie atop of the blackthorn sings, Midsummer is afoot. As ducks and rabbits to greet ye, startled hares hop away by themselves, valley teeming with life, the country air rife, with a distant silage smell. A faint white moon pokes through the blue, hinging o'er the carriage drive, and a soul content its time here was spent, fair thrilled to be there and alive. And through which eyes is it best seen, those of summer or of spring? One calm, the other stirring, waiting eagerly in life's wings. Ah, when fresh-cut grass that soul did waken, and the babby thought it part of heaven had taken, on her way doon here when she gurgled hello to the wild flowers in that endless meadow. To that question then, there's but one answer, but as the night start drawing in, let a new spark ignite your being, and cry not o'er what might have been. I'm still abune the Groond. I'm still abune the Groond, that's mair I'll say than most, while flows yet the right way gra, and when it grumble nor burst. There's some ha less, some far mair, but I ha one foot that gans in front of t'other in green fields fair, 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 hands. I knows to smell the turning leaves, the cool, sweet morning dew. A mouth to tell I saw such things as many never knew. Like the rolling hills of Coquetdale that reach up to the sky, and yon gentle trickling river, forever wondering why folks is in sic a great hurry, and sometimes different heed what's there right in front of them, but close their eyes instead. While stars to morning mists give way, and the valley fills with sound. These things can have my time of day, for I'm still abune the Groond. Northumberland Colours. The reed berries of Billsmore shine bright atween them hills, neath a brilliant autumn sky, pride of but few window sills. And the bonny brunnin bracken, nestling by the coffee bridge, keeps them 4 trees warm and snuggled as the air turns like a fridge. And the blue meandering Coquet a little bit farther doon gives life to grazing cattle, keeping watch our Kestrel tune. 'Tis colour like there never was, and never will be again, and each a smell to gan wi' it, brought out by gentle rain. and the hidden depths of Harwood hing right o'er the road, watching down upon the outer world, carrying secrets never knowed. And the afternoon wears on, and the air turns thin and raw. Field mice scuttle neath fallen leaves as a cold wind starts to blaw. You might even see the odd kingfisher or oyster catcher too, where the river bends at Hepple, and fields fair sparkle in the dew. 'Tis stunning in all seasons, each colour placed right in all, from bright yellow spring daffodils to the reds and browns in fall. And aye, there's them that say the country's a God-forsaken place. Daw say they'll find just what they want to find, and shut their eyes in case. The Christmas Visitor. With parsons' wards and babby screams both in full flow stage centre, that wind inside the church did blow yon famous board of winter. 'Twas warmer out, the might surmised, as for the tree it headed, and nestled mangst the baubles and such, same spot where folk are wedded. And falter not did parson's speech at such rare animation, for such a treat did well befit 50 years since ordination. Nae mair did he gesticulate when strangers' wings did flutter, though several eyes dashed to and fro when good things he did mutter. "What board is't?" whispered dear Bessie softly to her neighbour, while Pastor Bob crescendoed as for spotlight he did labour. A board weel versed in etiquette though, for his beak not once did whistle through Bob's sincere oration on St. Paul's famous epistle. Aye, content among the needles sat Wafrendal minutes 10, and made his quiet exit when the pastor said, "Amen." Hear hard the soft murmur of the Coquet on a gentle summer's night, or smelt the fresh-cut hay near by, and felt like all is right, or maybe heard them soothing droplets from dark clouds our Simonside, tapping gently on yon rich green leaves snuggling into the waterside. Are ye ghostly clover flowers lining the border of your lawn, or proud pink lupines in your garden where there'll be white butterfly the morn? Are ye stopped at yon bit of hin snitter, where green meadows stretch mile after mile? If it's no, ye na not my Northumberland. When ye dee, ye'll be here a fair while. 'Tis a most peaceful permanence, aye, a privilege to behold, robbing time of its terrible power, beautiful both in heat and in cold. Have ye been to that spot up the river, where the branches dip themselves in the quiet trickling current, near where elderflower dwells? Where all kinds of birds flit in and out, young ducks gliding peacefully by. Have ye tried to guess the tree where that hoot from the owl serenades lambs nearby? If it's no, ye na not my Northumberland, or the heartbeat of all good and true, where heaven tinged air, you'll find all you need there, and maybe a bit mair too. The Heron and the Coquet. Among the molehills there ye stand, eyes fixed upon the water, where green's the richest in the land, afore spring rains give splatter. Snowdrops bide peacefully neath the Groond while frost is yet to give, and tuneless quacks from yonder rushes say what a grand place to live. 'Tis a rare blue shines above your head, o' which the maist ye mek. Gan catch a tiddler for your feed, just reach yon beacon and peck. There's any amount there swimming about, thinking now to yon muckle beast, statue-like in yonder field, waiting patiently for his feast. There's a tone mair optimistic in the melodies that sow. 'Tis the time when nature wakes up, or maybe just before. But still that stirring can be felt as expectation looms, and hearts like ice from this scene melt, afore out even blooms. And the sunbeams glisten freshly as the Coquet with life teems, and the wanderer's heart beats strongly for the finest of all streams. The fallen fruit. You know it's March already, and you've done nowt aboot all the things you said you'd do. The weeks are flown, and all that's showin's the wear on your settee. The river's flooded from them rains, we knows what might wash up, and them aged stains is darkening inside your coffee cup. Your cupboard's full of last year's things that'll had to be hide out, and that apple tree down the garden has lang since borne any fruit. There 'tis, crawling up the wall, atop of that cane for fear it cowps. Not be lang noo till it falls, while underneath the fresh young loups. And every board has had its poem, and only the farmer knows what's been sown, and every flower and every bee has come and gone beneath that tree. So lest earthbound be the fruit you bear, take of that one chance the greatest care. Hepple at night. Neath the air divine, sweeter than fine wine, the meandering Coquet flows through fields asleep, while dark hills keep watch, while that gentle breeze blows. Far, far away from light of day, a distant bird cries out across the night with unknown plight. Who knows what that's about? And daffodils neath windowsills light Hepple through the day, and the Coquet song, whether right or wrong, says all there is to say. And the passer-by can soundly lie, having this but 1 minute known, the sweetest of airs, soothing all kinds of cares, aye, a wind as if just for him blown. And here lies true power in that gentle spring shower, and time does worry it not, nor will the world's ways quench that summer haze, or this garden be left to rot. And the passer-by, having these things seen, lies content as they fill up his dreams, longing only to meet an air again so sweet, but no other exists, so it seems. Blossom. Blossoms out with a rich perfume, that would all folks with soul consume. There's bird-song coming from every side, while a swan midstream doth peacefully glide. There's a blackbird singing on top of a grave, and the choirmaster's in need of a shave as the piano plays D, F sharp, A. I think to myself, it's been a canny Tuesday. The pussy willow's almost there, there's bairns on their bikes without a care. There's noises on the tennis courts, mind I think it's still a bit card for shorts. I wander by the waterside and think about what I have to play for the bride. 'Tis a Purcell tune. Had a bit gone the day, took mysel in the church and had a bit play. There was folk hanging about, said that they didn't mind. Play as loud as you like, I says, you're very kind. It's a lonely job sitting there by yourself, with your back to the folk, hoping that you play well. The Lonesome Swan. Dear Lonesome Swan, can you find out, gliding out of them ripples they rare? There's normally another aside ye. Now you've nae one but the cra that squawks away relentlessly as yon ice wind steals away that warmth that you are blessed with and made your wings like clay. Can ye hear in yonder rushes sounds most wondrous rich and sweet? Can ye smell those dear spring blossoms where in morning mists lambs bleat? Can ye feel the warmth of midday sun even if for not hour lang? Or does the heat stay dipped for next catch, just for fear you get outrang? D'ye know out of the grace ye have, fair jewel upon the river, or of how young babbies point and smile, or do ye comprehend it never? Ye slow life of its proper pace, I'll buy yoursel, nae matter. What's that ye say? She took your heart? Least ye can take all the water. The drive to Bickerton. The Bickerton hare gans loupen aboot, neath glistening gold leaves and ripening fruit, and the Groond is fair south to rain lang overdue, and the swallies is lined up and ready for off too. The red apples shining in the odd garden gate, bathed in watery warm gold, the perfect picture create, and roans a plenty sprout all over the place. Birds nibble contented, the whole scene filled with grace. There's branches fair bursting with seed singing low, I mind not all their names, but enjoy nature's show. And our green meadows cool mists cling on tight, in wait of the Coquet to whisper good night. There's rabbits by Rye Hill, the odd pheasant too, pokes its head out the lang grass afore the drive's through. And a September sun now where the river hangs low says, this'll be with you wherever you go. The clock ticks on and on. By she's dark ower yonder pines as autumn wind begins to blaw. Them cries is making sic a fuss aboot what I didn't know. There's a flickering of amber as branches wave a warm good night, making snug them creepy crawlies as leaves fall down from up a height. Midst the thick firs neath the skyline, whoosies pout with orange eyes, like huge stone owls keeping vigil under heavy clouded skies. A bare hill looms like an ancient monster gathering souls into its lair. Their voices hoard inside that wind the curse of a beauty so rare. Thin wisps from yonder chimneys tell of dwellers safe and warm, hearts blunted of all desire save shelter from the storm. Church chimes echo through the valley as the clock ticks on, and the rain begins to chuck it down where a youthful sun once shone.